Welcome to this episode of SoundPeople, the stories of our local legends. I have the privilege today to interview Melanie and JC from the trendiest cafe, bistro, tap house in Tehaleh, Washington, with the most spectacular view of Mount Rainier. So welcome, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Okay, so we have to start with take me back on the history, but also the dream. How did this all come to be?
So we had talked after getting married and having kids about how important community and connection and kind of finding your people and finding your place in the world, doing something that was a little bit more than just a job and going into every day. We'd love to have a cafe or a coffee shop, somewhere that people could come and join their neighbors, their friends, get a little break from the real world. We talked about it for a few years and nothing much came of it. And then COVID happened and JC went back to get his master's and his capstone became our business plan. And so we started a rough roadmap of what that would look like and actually started reaching out to real people in real communities and areas that we thought we could work in. And it just snowballed a little bit. A lot of things were just really good timing. We met with a developer in Tehaleh and the location we wanted was an option and it worked out amazing for us. And so we were able to move forward with kind of our dream. And it shifted a little bit, but we got to where we are now.
And we knew that the first thing we had to figure out was kind of name, branding, all that stuff. The building was already called The Post. Most of the community referred to it as The Post. It was like an existing welcoming center, coffee shop. And we were like, okay, if we know that 80% of our customers are already gonna call it The Post, we better figure out a name that works with that. So we said, okay, it's gotta be Post and something. And a lot of debate, a lot of kind of fun, creative moments. And we finally came up with Post and Pour. That was the winner. They had been there for 12 years before us, that it just made sense to continue to kind of honor the name and honor the tradition that they had.
When your customers come, I want the community to know, what do you guys have to offer?
At the base, you know, it's a cafe. So we offer early morning coffee, matcha, chai tea, smoothies. And then moving into lunch, we do panini lunch sandwiches, shareables like flatbreads, charcuterie, Mediterranean plate. And then move into the evening with some beer, wine, cocktails, alongside some of those shareables as well. So a little bit for everyone. We started offering a lot of different types of events. So currently we have trivia every Wednesday night. We do live music in the summer every Friday night out on our patio with the views of Mount Rainier. Sprinkled in, we have an artist meetup club. We have a silent book club that meets there. We have paint and sip, candle making, wreath making, a lot of different kinds of events to really touch on some different interests that people in the community may have.
What has been your biggest lesson in opening a business?
I think you have to be okay with things not going perfectly as planned. The dream that you have may not come out exactly how you dreamed it. I mean, for us, it was, we wanted bagels and brews and we were gonna have a bagel shop. And, when we found the building, it's like, there was no way it was going to facilitate being able to have the whole bagel making bakery process. It's like, okay, well, how can you still have your dream of having a community space, but now it's just not going to be a bagel shop?
Mm-hmm. A new dream.
Yeah, exactly, new dream. So you have to be able to be adapt and to be flexible. If you're rigid, you'll break. The pressures or things not going the way you want, you're gonna, it's gonna be really tough for you. So you got to have that flexibility and just kind of roll the punches. Be happy with whatever comes your way.
If we're talking to a young business person, maybe they're in the middle of their MBA, is there other advice that you'd want to give them outside of being flexible, or where would you guide them first?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the financial impact of starting a business is something to focus on. Having run businesses in the past and having financial backgrounds, and we thought we really understood it extremely well. And I think we had a fair grasp on it, but I think that it's easy to look at things very optimistically and very best case scenario. And I think the learning lesson for us from that was it does take time to start up a new business, and that takes money. And how you realistically plan for those things is extremely important. Owning the property, there's a lot of maintenance and a lot of things that break that you don't expect when you buy a new refrigeration unit and you don't expect it to be down in 6 months, right? So all of those things I think are really important to look at from a very realistic, maybe almost a little pessimistic perspective. Yeah.
So you got to do it on both sides. You need to be pessimistic on your revenue forecasting.
Yeah.
Take 20% down on your revenue, and
Yeah.
then bring up 20% on your costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just see how that pencils out first. Yeah. Don't go with the optimistic on both ends.
What's in store for the future for Post and Pour?
There's still a lot of expansion we want to do. We feel like there's still so much opportunity to offer more and do more for the community, and just continuing to evolve. I think the other thing we learned early on was we had a vision of what we wanted it to look like. And although we're still within that, it's really driven by our customers. And so there were things that we thought were just gonna hit it out of the park going in, and they didn't. We've got to be able to adapt and make those changes. So I think continuing to see what our customers want is really going to drive kind of the evolution of Post and Pour.
JC, you use the word third place. Tell us what that means.
A big part of our vision wasn't just necessarily to open a coffee shop or to try to create a community hub, but to try to have a third place. A place that isn't work, it's not home, it's a place that you can connect with friends, your neighbors. There's a great book called Bowling Alone, and it's by a famous sociologist. He talked about that, a lot of the loneliness that we're seeing right now, a lot of the disconnection between people, some of the fracturing that you're seeing in America is because that we don't have these spaces. And that by having these spaces where you can interact and you have these conversations, it will hopefully develop a reconnection of people. We really believe that business can be a source of good. The money that we make, we want to reinvest into Post and Pour so that we can continue to be this area that hopefully can connect and just be a part of making the world a better place. My encouragement for other people is to find other third places in their communities or find other businesses in their community that are giving back. Whether they're a small business or a big business, a lot of the people that we use as vendors, we really want to make sure that they're doing the same thing, that they're trying to make the world a better place, because that's what we should be doing at the end of the day.
As we finish up, is there anything that the community can do to support you guys?
I think just come be a part of it. Come grab a cup of coffee, come sit out on the patio and chat with people in person, meet some people. There's so many incredible people that come and visit Post and Pour, whether it's one time or once a day. And so it really is just a fun place to be, and there is a little bit of something for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
I highly recommend that you guys come visit Post and Pour on your next outing.